We are the Ministry of the Real Truth, and today we bring you this book, A Plain Deception, The Staging of a New Age Messiah by Constance E.Cumbey. Maybe it was published in French, or she's French or something, I'm not really sure. And it was found in the public domain, public access, so there shouldn't be any problem with copyright claims or strikes or anything like that. Okay, it's in English, so maybe it was originally French, and this is it in French apparently. And there's a description here. According to several bestsellers, the contents of the Bible are supposedly either a mixture of nonsense, in which case it should not be believed, or they are the result of editing by people after the disciples of Jesus died, in which case the Bible should not be believed. Either way, conveniently for some, the Bible should not be believed. Millions still read the New Testament, still pray for help, and still reach out to help where they can. What is the problem with the contents of the New Testament? That they might be actually authentic. That the teachings that they do proclaim have to do with kindness, love, selflessness, and trying to make a difference in the world. A lot of the confusion about Christianity happens when modern authors confuse the past horrors of the Vatican intrusion into the temporal world of politics with the contents of the New Testament. But the Christianity of the New Testament and the Christianity of the end of the age, are they actually the same? Would the Pope prove to be an ecumenical champion and then set about a merger between the Vatican, liberal Christianity, charismatic Christian groups and the New Age movement? Theories are fine and debates are normal, fair, especially inside Christianity. But if a system of global dominion was being established, what would it look like? Would it look like historic Christianity, that is, the non-Vatican kind? Would the new religion be a mixture of Roman Catholic Christianity with the New Age movement? Historically, does the Vatican have a set pattern of behaviour when it reaches a state of claiming universal dominion? Would the Vatican reclaim custody of holy sites in Jerusalem, while Europe promises to protect the peace between all parties in the Middle East? Isn't it a bit odd that both the New Age movement and Vatican Christianity are predicting the return of the Messiah? Both are predicting that this one being will rule over all the planet. Both are predicting that their Messiah will bring about a new age of peace and prosperity. What if these two competing religious systems, the Vatican and the New Age, are about to merge into one movement, become one world religion apparently? What would the steps be in order to make this happen? Why is it that several of the leading visionaries in the New Age movement, such as the Teilhard de Chardin, happen to be Roman Catholic leaders or have strong ties to Catholicism, and especially in Europe, Jean Monnet, Montaigne, Paul Henry Spark, etc.? Isn't Europe the place where a revived Roman Empire emerges in the end times to establish a global system of commerce and worship all combined into one? Would the new hybrid religion bring about a merging also between the Vatican, Protestant denominations and others within the Rockefeller-funded World Council of Churches? Many common people today have New Age beliefs, but do they know that many of the New Age leadership, even now, is from European aristocracy, the kind that still has billions of dollars, does not like democracy, and has an established history of allegiance to the unelected right of kings to claim dominion over others? Putting some of the pieces together, Constance Cumbey follows up her initial bestseller, Hidden Dangers of the Rainbow, with an explanation of the details and steps that are being taken in order for some of the international groups to establish and stage the appearance of the New Age Messiah. It has it in German. There's that in German. As with her other books, Hidden Dangers of the Rainbow, obviously available. Might be able to buy it online, or Amazon or something like that. This book also seems to have been written to give the reader some chance of being able to learn and understand the forces behind the scenes that move the political and spiritual levers of the global community. This book has been made available by the consent of the author. This book is also available as a free download on the author's website. This version contains the original text, so you might be able to download it free from this particular website. There's no need to sign up, pay any cash or anything like that. It's free to download, we believe. Okay, so who the heck was Constance E.Cumbey? Look at her history, if there's any. Constance Cumbey born February 29, 1944, so she might be still alive, is an American lawyer and activist Christian author. Cumbey offered the first major criticism of the New Age movement. From a Christian perspective in The Hidden Dangers of the Rainbow, the New Age movement and our coming age of barbarism, 1983, but quickly lost academic credibility due to her promotion of conspiracy theories, linking the New Age movement to Benjamin Creme, a Scottish artist, author, esoteric and editor of Share International magazine. Theosophy? Okay, that'd be that theosophical society founded primarily by the Russian Helena Blavatsky and draws its teachings predominantly from Blavatsky's writings. And Nazism. So she's getting hassles, harassment, because I reckon it's all her academic credibility was based on conspiracy theories and all this sort of stuff. They weren't very nice to her after that. Scholar of New Age religion James R. Lewis, an American philosophy professor at Wuhan University. That sounds like it's in China or something. Lewis was an academic scholar of religious studies, sociologist of religion and writer, specializing in the academic study of new religious movements, astrology and New Age movements, etc. Or cults and stuff like that probably. He describes this book as containing a few insightful criticisms with many accusations of the least responsible sort, and that she is simply lumping together anything that departs from a rather strict interpretation of Christianity. Cumbey's accusations include that the New Age movement has infiltrated all of Christianity as well as Judaism. Well, what do you think? Do you think that's true? Let us know in the comments below. But don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you like this particular video, and give us a like, and then share this with all your family, friends and others. Okay, and he said she's simply lumping together anything that departs from a rather strict interpretation of Christianity. Cumbey's accusations include that the New Age movement has infiltrated all of Christianity as well as Judaism, and that it is the motivating force behind ecumenism, holistic health centers, New Thought, humanistic psychology, Montessori schools, modernism, secular humanism, and zero population growth. Sometimes abbreviated as EPG. She stated that Unitarian churches and health food stores become New Age recruiting centers, that the Guardian Angels become one of the New Age movement's paramilitary organizations. And that the New Age movement has complete identity with the programs of Hitler. It's kind of wild, kind of wacky, yeah, sure. Her contention is that the New Age movement is not simply expressing a naive or unscriptural interest in metaphysics, but that it is an organized conspiracy to overthrow the United States, and replace it with a Nazi-like regime. Cumbey is harshly critical of all religions other than Christianity and Judaism, and those who take an interest in them. While there are certain superficial similarities among most religions, Orthodox Judaism and Christianity stand in direct opposition to every other belief system. It is safe to say, however, that nearly all non-Judeo-Christian religions are extremely similar because, as the Bible indicates, they come from one source, the God of this world, Satan himself. It is safe to say, however, that nearly all non-Judeo-Christian religions are extremely similar because, as the Bible indicates, they come from one source, God of this world, Satan himself. Constance Cumbey, The Hidden Dangers of the Rainbow. In the wake of the attacks following the release of The Innocence of Muslims, probably one of her other books, it's a short film that was written and produced by Vasily Nicola. Two versions of the 14-minute video were uploaded to YouTube in July 2012 under the titles The Real Life of Muhammad and Muhammad, etc., etc. Don't know if we're still going to see that. They may have taken it down because it might have upset the Muslims. She suggested on her blog that the incident might have been a deliberate attempt by New Agers to set the enemies against one against each other. So it's not her book, it's not her film. And she stated here, it's been stated she had her own suspicions that this was an incited thing that was designed to set the three Alice Bailey delineated fundamentalist target groups of Jews, Christians and Muslims off against each other. And she had even uglier feelings that it was cynically produced and put in circulation with just that sort of kill-off monotheism war. And she suspected this may have been a deliberate and well-financed move to incite the target groups against each other. And she published works, references and further reading. So let's have a look at your book, A Planned Deception, The New Staging of a New Age Messiah by Constance E.Cumbey. Table of contents. Appendix. Introduction. And it goes on about her first book, when it was published, and what kind of reception she received, we guess. She's going on about the New World Order headed by the Antichrist. She states here she also faced the disillusionment of hearing people who she formerly admired to tell outright falsehoods. Two who are widely respected in the field of cults made frequent statements on their radio programs that they invited her on their program, and she refused the invitations. They had never done so. One of these gentlemen sat in the front row of one of her speaking engagements in Southern California and did not even introduce himself to her. She did not even know he was in the audience until others labouring in the same field and disturbed by his vitriolic conduct informed her that he was there the entire evening. Thereafter he made even legally actionable slanderous statements about her work on his own radio program. He would follow those remarks by telling his listening audiences he was going to send her the tapes. He further said he would have her on his program in a week or two to respond to his charges. The next week he would go back on the air and tell his listeners that she had refused the opportunity to respond over the air. I wonder if that was Alex Jones. And she was yet to receive a single tape or talk show invitation from this individual whose work she once so deeply admired. This delusionment hurt her far more than Benjamin Creme's sarcastic remarks about her on yet another radio program. And then she goes on further. What did she say here? For those who understand Jesus' words to his disciples are appropriate. Okay, what does it say here? The New Age movement has been a source of much frustration to her at that time. At the same time, viewing it from the vantage point she had, was never boring. Seeing its prophetic and historic implications in context made her realise that they were fortunate to live in a time that all the Old Testament prophets would have loved to see. For those who understand Jesus' words to his disciples are appropriate. But blessed are your eyes, for they see, and your ears, for they hear. Matthew 13:16, King James Version. However, if one persists in closing his eyes to the existence of the all too plain evidence, they might instead consider the following passages. And he said, probably God to Daniel, Go thy way, Daniel. Go thy way, Daniel, for the words are closed up and sealed until the time of the end. Many shall be purified and made white. Doesn't mean they're going to go from a black person to a white person. It means they're made pure. They're dressed in white, the sign of purity, cleanliness, all that sort of stuff. Holiness. And tried, but the wicked shall do wickedly, and none of the wicked shall understand, but the wise shall understand. Daniel 12:9, 10 to 10, King James Version, emphasis added. O you hypocrites, you can discern the face of the sky, but can you not discern the signs of the times? Matthew 16:3, KJV. And with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. And for this cause God shall send them strong delusion, that they should believe a lie, that they might all be damned who believed not the truth, but had pleasures in unrighteousness. 1 Thessalonians 2:10-12 KJV. Here one must see that the important thing was the love of the truth. The emphasis was not so much on perfect truth as it was this love of the truth. No doubt every hypocrite and Pharisee who harassed Jesus believed himself to be in possession of perfect truth, and yet Jesus' scornful remarks were directed directly to them. No doubt many a person in Noah's day felt himself to be a good person, but he would not heed the warning the Lord gave Noah, that a disaster would come upon the earth. Let us not take the proud Pharisees as our role models. It is better that we model ourselves after the humility of that repentant thief hanging alongside Jesus on a companion cross, saying, Lord, remember me when you come into your kingdom. To trust in our own righteousness is just as fatal a sin of pride as that committed by Lucifer when he decided to attain to God's position. As the angel said to John, let he who has ears hear. Her notion of an ideal career had never been to walk about with a giant sign saying, repent, the end is near, but still the signs of the times indicate that indeed we should repent as the end is near. The sequel to the hidden dangers of the rainbow are about those signs and hidden dangers to which we must remain alert. Constance E.Cumbey, November 1, 1985. Chapter 1, A Plain Deception. The script is now written, subject only to last minute editing of stage directions. The stage itself, albeit as yet in darkness, is almost ready. Down in the pit, the subterranean orchestra is already tuning up. The last minute walk-on parts are even now being filled. Most of the main actors, one suspects, have already taken up their roles. Soon it will be time for them to come on stage, ready for the curtain to rise. The time for action will have come. From the Armageddon script by Peter Le Messie, St. Martin's Press, 1982, New York, page 252. One could easily think the above paragraph came from a Hal Lindsey book, warning Christians of the evil that is to come. Incredibly, such is not the case. The above quote is the summation of the Armageddon script by Peter Le Messie, a noted pyramidologist, occultist. It is a how-to manual for New Agers and intellectuals interested in staging a simulated second coming of Christ. The script they write, if successfully staged, could deceive even the very elect. It is logical and proper to question why one might expect the average person of intelligence to support such a scheme. To the contrary, it is precisely the intellectual whose support is being courted and won for this undertaking. The Armageddon script is based upon theories popular among the intelligentsia, and they are being courted by flatteries. The theories behind the Armageddon script will seem familiar to those studied in psychological theories. Many laymen too have heard of Jungian archetypes. Briefly stated, the belief is that humanity is unfulfilled prophecy, or Jungian archetypes cluttering up its collective psyche. They further believe that a prophecy once uttered takes on a life of its own. They believe that prophecy is essentially self-fulfilling. This prophetic life is called an archetypal image or archetype. When humanity or significant segments of it await such fulfillment, it impedes human progress in other areas. Therefore, they say, we owe it to ourselves and to humanity as a whole to take steps to exorcise or remove these prophecies hanging over us like a sort of Damocles, ready to wreak mischief at any time. Le Messie suggests detailed steps for a script-type fulfillment to serve as a lightning rod against fulfillment at another, less convenient time. The Bible well noted that in the last days evil men and seducers shall wax worse and worse, deceiving and being deceived. Yes, we did do a video on clowns who are entertaining the goats. Check that one out. Truly, the author of the Armageddon script shows evidence of strong delusion when he proclaimed there is no likelihood that these prophecies will be fulfilled. He forgets his own possible role in their fulfillment. Le Messie is a man with strong New Age connections, including a publishing relationship with the Findhorn Foundation in Northern Scotland. His books are widely promoted and sold in New Age bookstores. They show that he strongly supports and promotes the New Age philosophies, including those of New Age favourites. Shongara Rampa, yes, we've heard of that guy. Edgar Casey, heard of him. Hugh Schonfield, Teilhard de Chardin, and even David Spangler. He makes reference to the Aquarian Gospels of Jesus the Christ. We've heard of that as well. From these sources, he has compiled a startling agenda for proposed worldwide deception. It is further obvious that this New Ager, unlike many of the others, carefully studied the Bible. This was done for purposes of suggesting a scenario which could deceive less than well-informed Christians. What's the other one? Deceive. It's called Blue something. And it was a whole lot of satellites created to find oil and resources all over the planet, but the military apparently, or the authorities, got hold of it, the military, and changed it into a is it the Blue Beam project? They changed it into a whole lot of satellites that create a giant visual screen, and then they put through it that, like say different peoples around the country, their god, say Krishna, turns up and tells them, hey, I'm Christ or whatever, or some other religion, like maybe Muhammad comes and says, all religions the same, right? I was just talking to Christ a minute ago or something like that, and somebody else and somebody else, and then eventually they all merge into one. They become Jesus Christ, and he says, well, all religions are one. It's all a trick, deception, right? Project Bluebeam. And everyone in the world sees it because they don't see this giant screen up in the sky or whatever, right? All this sort of stuff. So they believe it, and the next minute they see these hologramic illusions, spaceships coming down and zapping people up and all this sort of stuff, and they're coming out and they're talking to people, and people are believing all this stuff and all that sort of crap, right? It's all deceit. Something along those lines. I think that's what she's talking about as well, that sort of thing. Yeah. So this guy is one of those guys who creates that sort of scenario by knowing everything in the Bible and then creating that false scenario. If his plan, clearly part of what the New Ages call the plan, were executed as written, it might be enough, as Jesus said, to deceive the very elect, those chosen by God. Right? What is the proposed agenda that this subterranean orchestra is already tuning up for down in the pit? Is a truly starting one. First, it calls for having the new Messiah in the Holy Land by 1985, or no later than the arrival of Halley's Comet in early 1986. But apparently today, according to Rabbi Toby Singer, he got some emails that there's this Messiah there, and apparently if he messes up or something happens to him, they've got another Messiah. And if that guy messes up, they've got another one, and another one, and another one. And that's about all we remember that he said. This new leader is to be carefully prepare for his role by studying scriptures and Dead Sea Scrolls, current Jewish messianic expectations, familiarising himself with prophecies of other major world religions, and the best in New Age religious thought. The science of earthquake prediction would be then employed for the remainder of the initial scenario. Then Messie coolly details some of them as follows. A. The restored Messiah must reappear on Jerusalem's Mount of Olives at the time of a great earthquake. B. He must enter Jerusalem from the east, escorted by a procession of rejoicing followers dressed in shining white. C. Visiting the tomb of his spiritual ancestor, King David, he must emerge in suitably perfumed royal robes as the great monarch returned. D. Supported by a popular rising, he must proceed with his followers to the Temple Mount, there to be enthroned, anointed, and crowned King of the new Israel. But, according to Cumbey, she could hear you argue. Surely no thinking person would expect such a program to succeed, given the large number of determined Roman Catholics, Protestants, and sceptical Jewish observers who might give opposition. To the contrary, this resistance has been calculated and dismissed. The massed forces of the old age, however, will be unable to check the headlong onrush. In large measure, they will go on to destroy each other in a massive mutual venting of long pent-up aggression. The old hates come to the surface, right? What sort of a program would be offered to satisfy the spiritual needs of those living under this regime? As expected, Le Messie rightly notes that it will not be the traditional Christian ones. The new mission to the youth of the world then will be an international movement dedicated to spreading the already developing ideas and values upon which the new age is to be founded. Those ideas and values will not necessarily be the traditional Christian ones, for the wisdoms of all ages and cultures will be called upon to surrender their most precious secrets and the collective human psyche will add to it yet further wisdoms that have so far never even been expressed. It is for the soul of man that the new David will have to fight, or the new Messiah. The Messiah may well be right for the wrong reasons. Yes, the wisdom of all ages and cultures will be called upon, and they will surrender their most precious secrets. The Apostle John was clearly shown this by the Lord in the course of his Patmos Island vision. And after these things I saw another angel come down, etc., etc. Revelation 18:1-3. Lest anyone think Lemashura is alone, please note the following. His books have received the benefit of major publishers. Publishers support both here, where she is, America, and in England. It was a major book club selection in England, and so forth. The reader should be reminded as well that the infamous Humanist Manifesto in effect carries this very theme she's talking about. In the preface to Humanist Manifesto 2, its authors state, as in 1933, humanists still believe that traditional theism, especially faith in and prayer, hearing God, assumed to love and care for persons, to hear and understand their prayers, and to be able to do something about them, is an unproved and outmoded faith. Salvation based on mere affirmation still appears as harmful, diverting people with false hopes of heaven thereafter. Reasonable minds look to other means for survival. This was reinforced within the body of the manifesto itself. Promises of immortal salvation or fear of eternal damnation are both illusory and harmful. They distract humans from present concerns, from self-actualization, and from rectifying social injustices. One can easily see where the area of Jungian archetypes and acting out an end-time drama is an area in which cultists, atheists, and agnostic humanists can find common ground. The occultists of all New Age persuasions could easily support such a figure because they believe it is their Christ, as they define it. The atheist could participate because he would feel it would contribute to the furthering of human progress on the planet, with people being discharged of their ideas of a coming deity for once and for all. Richard Dawkins would love that. The humanist could participate because it would further the aims of their manifestos. In fact, maybe the humanists and the New Ages are really not so far apart at that. Didn't the 1973 Humanist Manifesto 2 read, "We stand at the dawn of the New Age"? Many recognisable New Ages and occultists appear as signers of the 1973 document, including Isaac Asimov, Archie Baum, and Lester R. Brown of the World Watch Institute. Likewise, the 1933 original manifesto was not without occultist influence. Oliver Lee Reiser, a Lucis Trust activist par excellence, appears as a signer to that original declaration. The Book of Daniel warned that the coming world dictator would not come initially with guns. The angel warned him instead, "And in his estate shall stand up a vile person, to whom they shall not give the honour of the kingdom, but he shall come in peaceably and obtain the kingdom by flatteries." Daniel 11:21 KJV. The real question is not whether there will be flatteries or not, but what form they will take. Cumbey believes the essential flattery the Antichrist and his followers will employ is the same as that consistently employed by Satan in the past. "Thou shalt be as gods." Yes, someone said in a comment the other day, this, that, and we're all gods, with a capital G. So we said to them nicely, "You are not God. You are not gods." But the scriptures say, Jesus said, "Do you not know that you are gods?" It could be an apostrophe's missing or something like that. We're not sure on that. And the original ancient Aramaic, we didn't see any apostrophe there. So he could be saying, in their Eastern mindset, "Do you not know that you are gods, that you belong to God because he created you, he's your creator?" It could mean that. Yeah. Or maybe that you have authority. It's what he might be saying, not necessarily saying you are gods, right? You should sit on a throne and all this stuff, like the ancient pagan gods, etc., right? Or God himself. However, it is also evident that he has been courting the intelligentsia, or the authorities, by flattering themselves into thinking that they can change the course of history by concerted play-acting a false messiah into his domain. Daniel was further warned, "And such as do wickedly against covenant shall he corrupt by flatteries, but the people that do know their God shall be strong and do exploits." Daniel 11:32 KJV. It's evident from the context of the Daniel passage that while Lucifer is busy inspiring his forces, God will likewise give great strength to his people. So we recommend that you look at your KJV. It's the actual words in the KJV that are written there, or is she like changed a word or two here? It's just to be sure, right? Okay. Because where was it? As such as do wickedly against the covenant, shall he corrupt by flatteries. But the people that do know that God shall be strong and do exploits. Because that sounds like... okay, yeah. So these wicked will do exploits. That's what it means. Okay, we understand it now. It is evidence from the context of the Daniel passage that while Lucifer is busy inspiring his forces, God will likewise give great strength to his people. A proper response to the Armageddon script. Important advice for Christians is found in Isaiah chapter 8. First, it tells that nothing will ultimately prevail against God's true body. Secondly, it tells us whom we should truly fear. Associate yourselves, O ye people, and ye shall be broken to pieces, and give ear, all ye of far countries. Okay, as Shakespeare speaks. And that's Isaiah 8, 9 to 13. Sanctify the Lord of hosts himself, and let him be your fear, and let him be your dread. Okay, because he's one who can does it destroy spirit and soul? Again, throw it into oblivion, lake of fire, or cast it there, etc. etc. Okay. He can be destroyer of your spirit and your soul, or your soul, according to that scripture. So he should be the one you should dread. You should fear. Honour him, worship him in fear and trembling. One may quickly see that the planned deception is incredible in detail. Okay, so the scripture is something like fear him because he can destroy both body and soul. Pretty sure that's what that scripture says. Okay, one may quickly see that the planned deception is incredible in detail and magnitude, perhaps enough to deceive even the very elect, the chosen of God, right? One way that the elect might remain alert to such deception is to remind themselves how Christ is really to appear. Therefore, we will know that no matter how impressive the show, or the people calling for his acceptance, if we are standing on the ground, he is a clear-cut phony. We will behold Christ in the air, not on the air, as as even some prominent TV evangelists have suggested. We will behold Christ in the air, and that's the rapture, isn't it? Not on the air, as even some prominent TV evangelists have suggested. Owning a television set is not a prerequisite to viewing our Lord coming in power and great glory. And at the time, Cumbey was startled at how many fine Christians had expressed the belief to her that when the Bible said, "Every eye shall see him," it meant on television. They should know that Benjamin Creme says this too. It is important that we not be ignorant of Satan's devices. However, it is even more important that we know where to place our fear and our trust. We fear not them that can slay the body, but are not able to kill the soul, but fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell, or lake of fire, or oblivion, etc. Okay, so here's a chapter notes. Early New Age centres. The New Age movement got its start in 1978 and took its name from the name of a magazine. Dr. Walter Martin, Bible Answer Man Program, fall 1983. Despite Dr. Martin's early advice statement, the New Age movement certainly did not begin yesterday. Those involved, by their own admissions, have been so for many years. In The Hidden Dangers of the Rainbow, her book, she gave a short history of the New Age movement. She lightly touched upon the activities of two pivotal New Age organisations, the Theosophical Society and Lucis Trust. Both are heavily Luciferian in origin, and much, if not most, of the modern New Age movement can be easily traced to the influence of one or both of these organisations. So get the cult of the Golden Dawn, all this sort of stuff. That's probably where it's being influenced from. This Helen Blavatsky Theosophical Society, which Krishnamurti and a few others were involved in. However, there are other early projects which continue to exude influence in both the movement and the world, for that matter. Some of them are directly traceable to theosophical antecedents. So that could be origin, sorry. Most have had a direct and substantial influence upon academia. Unfortunately, many have impacted the Christian world as well. New Age organisation did not start with Alice Bailey or even with Helena Petrovna Blavatsky. Such activities were well in progress at the time of the American Revolution. One American general, Allen Hitchcock, was deeply involved in Rosicrucian activity. He also worked to build bridges with other occult organisations. A supreme initiate, he was a member of the Council of Three for America, the Council of Three of the French, Order of Eliphas Levi, and a co-worker and co-member with Albert Pike of the Scottish Rite. Three more early networkers were Gutman, Vigil, and Studion. These were known to other initiates as the Three Hermetic Christian initiates. They were also members of the World Council. As do modern-day New Agers, these men also referred to the efforts as the Great Work. Swinburne Climate discusses their networking in frank detail below. Organised Christian infiltration. At the same time, the occult initiates were working on penetrating and subverting the Christian churches. In Germany, Simon Studion, mystic, alchemist, Lutheran convert, Paracelsian enthusiast, a member of the World Council, probably the World Council of Churches, was occupied in establishing the Militia Crucifera Evangelica, a Christian occult society for the purpose of attracting all of those who no longer believed in the infallibility of the Catholic Church and who were engaged in the study of mystic and occult literature. Then as now, cooperation between different occult schools was said to be necessary to accomplish the religious subversion. And there's more information there. She's got more information on Jung and so forth, all these different people. And this book continues with her supposed personal research and information. There is one that, or a statement that we came across quite a while back, that the Jesuits, they are infiltrators. They train their people up, and the whole purpose is to get into these different Christian churches, etc., and they cause problems. Undetected. One might be all for them and make out, this and that, but he's actually siding with the other person that comes in, he knows of. That's a Jesuit. Right, they're playing each other, apparently. One's pretending to be the bad guy. It's good cop, bad cop type thing, right? But they're there to actually undermine and destroy. Yeah, so we're going to leave that there. You can download this for free. We can leave the link below this video if this book really interests you. If you're into the conspiracy theories or this sort of stuff. It may... I just saw something on the highs. It may interest you. Information here. It's as you suggested, download it, read it in your own time at your own pace, and then subscribe to our channel, give us a like, and add your comments in the comment section. We're really interested in what you have to say about this particular book. be it that she's off her tree, right? She's full of it, or she's the real deal. So yeah, don't forget to subscribe to us, give us a like, add your comments below this video, and you go share this with everybody else that you know.